And like I said, I've owned these wonderful German engineered knives for years and years and years. Why? Because they last and because they hold an edge. They're built well. They have all the things that I look for in a top quality knife, all right? You've got single tang construction, which means the blade goes through right from top to bottom of the knife. You have riveted handles. They're never gonna fall off. They're warranted for a lifetime. You get all the best cutting tools that you could possibly want. And I'll go through each one real quick before John goes out, and then he'll show you everything you need to know. But this company goes back to 1731. That's before the revolution, people. All right, that's how long these knives have been being made by this company. They are unbelievable. Last holiday when we featured these, I bought 4 sets. I bought one for me, and I already owned Henckels knives, but I was like, I'll get a new set at this price. You will pay $89 for one Henckels knife. Normally in retail, we're giving you an entire set. They come in this beautiful ashwood block. The key to this is, and if you look in close, each one of those has a label so you know exactly which knives you're using, but inside each one of these little slots is a built-in sharpener. Except for the serrated knife and the shears, you have a built-in sharpening system inside. So every time you put a knife away, inside, if I can get it in the slot, inside a slot, you are sharpening the knife as it goes in and out. There are 2 ceramic blades that sharpen the knife. It is brilliant. No more having to do that as a separate duty. Nobody really knows how to sharpen a knife anyway. The knife block does it for you. When you order today, really quickly, you are gonna get a whole bunch of different tools here. First of all, you're going to get your 8-inch chef's knife. That is the knife that I've got right here. So this is number 1. Notice again, single tang construction, which means it goes from the top of the knife, the piece of metal, all the way down to the bottom. It is a thicker knife because you are gonna be honing and sharpening this knife. That is knife number 1. You're also gonna get a Santoku knife. That has a little bit of the rivets in there, and that allows for air to get inside there and allows for release when you're slicing and chopping. That is knife number 2. You are also gonna get a utility knife. This is a knife I use pretty much every single day. I love this knife. It's a medium range knife, easy to handle. You're gonna use this for most of your cutting. In addition to that, you will also get a serrated knife, all right? So you get a bread knife. This is also a great sandwich knife. Notice it's a little bit wider. Be able to put your bread spreads on, but also it's got teeth on the top to be able to cut into any bread or roll very, very easily. Then you are also gonna get the paring knife. That is a smaller knife. That's great for doing detail work. You know what I call the grandma cut? A lot of people cut against their thumb. I don't recommend it, but a lot of grandmas like to do that. This is your everyday knife for doing your prep work. And then finally, what I consider best in class shears included with that. So all these tools are included in addition to the wood ash block that goes along with it. You have 3 color choices to choose from. White is the most limited. Andre, how many left in white? Is it like 50? 1,400 left, 1,300 now left in white. It also comes in red, if you want to get red, and it also comes in black. All right, black is the most popular. And this is the first time we've done it in colors. I own it in black, and the 3 sets I bought for my family are also in black for holiday. It's a great set of tools to get for the summer. For all your cooking and barbecues, you're gonna love it. It's a huge customer pick on hsn.com with mostly 5-star reviews. You will absolutely love, love, love it. Let me introduce our special guest. Gonna take you on a little tour of these beauties. His name is John Florell. Hey, John, good to see you, buddy.
Guy, good morning. How are you?
Great, man. Love these knives. I bought 4 sets last year at Christmas.
Yeah. I don't blame you. A lot of people do that because they'll put it away for a Christmas gift or a housewarming. Yeah, you know, not only are they functional, but this knife block looks amazing in your kitchen. It's got this beautiful ash wood block. It's beautifully stained. The stainless steel cap, that's what contains those ceramic sharpeners inside. So every time you take the knife out or put it back inside the block, it self-sharpens. How can you, I mean, you'll never have, listen, here's the thing about a knife. Everybody has a drawer full of knives at home in the kitchen. When we first get a knife home, and Henckels knives are known to be sharp. These, all you do is touch the food and it cuts it. I mean, they're like a razor blade on a handle. The problem is when you use a knife, it hits countertops, cutting boards, plates, and dishes. So every time you use it, it drags across the surface underneath, and that's what dulls your knife over time. With this knife block set, you'll never have to sharpen your knives again. if you've ever tried using one of these things, you know, those old stick sharpeners, there's no way you can get the proper angle on one of these. Even a professional chef or a professional knife sharpener can only get a knife back to about 80% of its original factory sharpness. With J.A. Henckels, the Zwilling J.A. Henckels knives, all you're going to do is slide it back into that block and pull it back out, and it sharpens it to 95% of its original factory sharpness. So every time that you use that knife, it's going to cut like the very first time you used it. All you do is touch it, and it cuts it. I mean, now, that's the beauty of these knives. Now, any chef will tell you Zwilling Henckels knives are the gold standard in kitchen cutlery. It's a professional tool. You've seen them in the stores. They're usually behind lock and key. You have to ask one of the associates to help you to take them out and take a look at them. Here, today, you're getting an entire set in that block that self-sharpens the knives every time you slide them in or out of there, and you're getting every utilitarian knife that you will use in the kitchen. So your chef's knife, your Santoku knife, you get your paring knife, you get your serrated utility knife, and that straight utility knife, all in the self-sharpening block. So every time you use this knife, or any of the knives, when you use it, it's going to cut like the very first time. Now, these Santoku knives, Santoku knives are not a new knife. These have been around since the 1990s. All right, they were invented over in Japan. And what happens is those little divots in the blade create an air pocket, which help release the food from the blade of the knife. So as you're chopping, slicing, and dicing, nothing sticks to the blade. But what's great about it is you can do delicate things like really soft cheese, or you can cut an avocado perfectly in half right through the pit. Here, if you missed that, I'll do it again. Because they're just that sharp, they're just that durable, and they fit beautifully in your hand. With that triple riveted design, the teardrop on the end, your hand fits beautifully on there for harder things, like if you wanted to do a cantaloupe or watermelon, or for doing those really fine things. And of course, with this knife, all you do is move it, like I said, and it cuts it. I mean, that's the beauty about Henckels knives.
Yeah, you know, for me, John, and I've owned them for years, it's a bit of an investment. When I first bought my first set of Henckels, I spent $500 on them with the Bloc, and prices have come down, which is great, and you know, and they've become more readily available for everybody. It used to be just chefs would buy these knives because they were expensive. Right. But for under $100, you're gonna have these knives probably the rest of your lives, at least 20 years. The new set I just bought, I had my previous set of Henckels for like 13 years. All right, and the only reason that I got new knives was because, you know, I was like, you know what, I could use a change. I've had these for a long time. Plus, you know, you are going to be taking material off your knife to sharpen it, so eventually it will be need to be replaced, but more than likely not in your lifetime, because you're sharpening them the right way. And you're not, and most people, to John's point, do not know how to sharpen a knife, all right? They all come with a honing stick. Nobody knows how to use that. And I'll be honest, at every restaurant I worked at, all our knives were sharpened by professional knife sharpeners. They'd come in every 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and they'd sharpen all the knives. Because the chefs are like, I got no time to do this. Plus, the last thing you want to do is have a chef make a mistake cutting himself while he's trying to sharpen a knife. So we make it easy. All those slots are built right in. If you look inside, you'll see that little ceramic wedge that is inside there, and I'm not sure which one you guys can see. I want me to do the little one right here. So you see right there, you can see right there, the little white area right there, that's ceramic material. And so every time I run that in and pull it out, and if you want to sharpen them, just go in a couple of times like that. You'll feel the blade being sharpened, and then it just rests inside. Because remember, to John's point, every time you chop down on something, you're dulling the blade. This sharpens it every time. All right, plus it's a great place to store your knives, right? And you know, they say all these knives are dishwasher safe. Do yourself a favor. Just rinse them off, wash them off, and put them back in the Bloc. I don't like putting sharp objects in a dishwasher because if you're in a hurry and you go in there, you could hurt yourself. You don't need to. But to John's point, you know, it's the German engineering, it's the materials that they use that give you the thickness of the knife itself. And you can sort of see come in really close. That is a very thick back blade. That's because they know you're going to be taking material off. So if you start with a thin knife, it's going to be flimsy, which you don't want because a flimsy knife is dangerous. Unless you're boning out fish and using a boning knife, which is thinner, you want a heavier knife. You want a knife, and I'll cut this tomato in half. I mean, this just goes through this like butter. It's ridiculous. And you're not going to fight it. And even with the skin like this, I mean, I can go as thin as I want to with this knife, and I can get that nice fan that everybody loves, right? Nice and thin. I'm getting a lot of tomatoes. I could do the same thing with a grape. I mean, I can cut this so thin. You know, we call this like making contact lenses. I mean, and I'm not pushing and I'm not hurting the grape. And you can see just how thin those slices are on that knife. I mean, it really gives you great control. I mean, anybody can cut a cucumber, but when you got to cut tomatoes and you're cutting radishes, things that are very soft and very delicate or very small, mushrooms are hard too. Use your smaller knife for that. You will love having these knives. A lifetime warranty. I mean, when I saw that, that's why I bought them last year. I'm like, you know what? This company's going to stand behind these knives with a lifetime warranty. There are many companies that do that. A good warranty is 2 to 3 years. A great warranty is 5. An incredibly ridiculous warranty is a lifetime. And you'll get that. You get that protection. And you will have them forever. I think they elevate, John, your cooking experience. And John will attest, the only dangerous knives you really have are the old school, dull, stamped knives that don't have a full tang, that aren't riveted. Right. Because those are dangerous. They can break. They're hard to control. These knives you will love.
Yeah, and it's so nice to have a sharp knife. You can do so many things with it. I mean, I've got an entire salmon fillet here. I want you to see this guy. All you do is move it, and it cuts it. I mean, right through the skin and everything. This is so nice that you can take that same knife, lay that fish down flat on your cutting board, and look at this. I mean, you'll fillet the skin off of that salmon so fast. That salmon will probably be swimming before he even knows it's missing his skin. But, I mean, the nice thing is you can do things like if you're into sashimi or sushi, or if you wanted to, you have the quality, you have that sharpness. Every single time that you use this knife, I mean, it's going to be razor sharp. I mean, look at that. That's perfect for your locks. I'll tell you, though, with this knife set, one of my favorite knives, and I'm going to move over here to where I can show you our utility knife, because this utility knife is, again, one of your most utilitarian knives. Now, I don't recommend slicing bell peppers in the air like this. I just like to show you how sharp these knives are. You can literally slice, I mean, as paper thin as you like, right in midair.
That's pretty cool.
Look at that. Perfectly thin. And it's like when you're using these, you'll use them for all kinds of slicing, dicing, chopping. With your cabbage for coleslaw. You can slice your vegetables, nickel down carrots for canning, or slice beets for pickling. With this knife, all you're going to do is move it, and it's going to cut it. But do you hear what's happening after I cut through this zucchini? That knife is hitting the cutting board. If you're doing that on a table or a countertop, or maybe it's even a plate or a dish, eventually that wears the edge off on the knife. It rolls it over. That's what's so great about this knife block. Every time you replace that knife for storage or pull it back out to use it, it sharpens itself. And Guy, what Zwilling has done is created a knife sharpener in this block that literally brings your knife back to 95% of its original sharpness. So every slot is labeled. Your chef's knife, your Santoku knife, your utility knife, your paring knife, all of those have sharpeners. But as you know, Guy, because you're a chef and you've done restaurants and everything else, your chef's knife, to get a proper edge, needs to be at a 15-degree angle, sharpening it. You can't do that on one of those sharpening sticks. This knife block has that sharpener inside set at exactly 15 degrees, so you're going to get that perfectly sharp. The Santoku knife, which has a little bit thinner blade, is sharpened at 11 degrees. So the knife sharpener in the Santoku slot is set at 11 degrees. So you're going to get your knives back to 95% of its original factory sharpness. And I got to tell you guys, this knife block is beautiful. It's got that ash wood, beautiful finish on it. I've got some smuts on my hand.
Wait, you
here
got a little
that I'm smearing all
mozzarella on
over.
your knife block there, John.
I know.
That's all right.
You know, the best part about this too is it comes with every knife that you're going to use the most of in the kitchen.
Exactly.
That paring knife, you're going to absolutely love that paring knife. The shears, I always say, if you don't have a pair of kitchen shears in the kitchen, yeah, it's the most utilitarian tool. Whether you're opening bags, packages, or if you want to, you know those batteries that come in that plastic that's clamshell that you usually cut yourself trying to open it? Now you don't have to worry about that. You've got the shears that can do that. You can take these shears through a roasted chicken, split a chicken right through the bones and everything. Remember, the steel on these shears are the same exact high carbon stainless steel blades. So you can split a chicken, you can quarter it down. It makes a beautiful display like that on your tabletop. And when these get dirty, they're dishwasher safe. Or you can just wipe them off, like I recommend, and just slide them back into the block.
John,
and look how beautiful this is.
I use the shears as much as I use the knives. Because they're they're so sharp and they're so well made. And anything, almost anything you can cut, you can use with shears for certain things as well. Opening any kind of a bag or anything like that, I love it. You got a lifetime warranty with these. If you care about your food preparation and you want to do it the right way, the number one thing any aspiring chef buys is a set of cutlery. It's their number one thing. It's like a mechanic buys a set of tools, right? That's what they buy. And if you are making mistakes cooking, if you are hurting yourself, I used to tell all the chefs, aspiring chefs in the restaurant, regular chefs know it, but guys that were training, I'd be like, keep your knives sharp. It's the most important thing, because when you have a dull knife or a knife that can't hold an edge, what do? You push harder. When you push harder, you're more than likely to shake with the food and make a mistake and take a part of your finger off, right? And that is, when you see me cut this tomato, there's no pressure that I have to put on. Why? Because the knife is very, very sharp. So when I go through the tomato, and I mean, I'll hold it like, I don't know if you can see my hand on this side. I'm actually holding it with 2 fingers, and I just want you to see, I'm not putting any pressure on the knife, okay? It's just going through. I'll do it again. I'll give a bigger piece here. I am basically gliding the knife through and allowing it to do its cutting. I don't have to push on the knife. Pushing is not gonna do anything. A little pressure is good, but if I wanna cut very thin, just let the knife glide through and you will get thin slices, okay? If you're chopping, you can do the same. And whether it's that or it's a cucumber and you're doing, fancy chopping and you want to go real fast, you can do that very, very easily. Always keep your fingers tucked in. And again, you'll get these great slices very, very easily. Always wipe your knife, keep a towel handy, keep your knife nice and dry so that it's not slippery in your hands. And then, when you rinse it off, you put it right back in. And remember, the reason this is a safe knife is it's sharp. The reason it's sharp is because it goes into a sharpener every time you put it away. It is absolutely brilliant. You're storing and sharpening and maintaining your knives all in one. Everybody gets the block. Everybody gets all the knives and the shears and the serrated knife. The serrated knife is a great knife for cutting bread as well. So if you're going to be doing here, submarine sandwiches, I'll grab that serrated knife out of here. It also has a wider face. You can see that right there. That's so not only can you cut your bread, but now you can do your bread spreads, your mayonnaise, or whatever it is you want to put on there. It's a great, great knife. You're going to love and explore each one of these blades, and you're going to fall in love with them. And the nice thing is, you ever have any issues for a lifetime, and you could ask our representatives about the warranty, they'll replace the knives. So realistically, yeah, $89, which is a $40 savings. And by the way, Andre, let's put up our little promo for our HSN credit card. If you get a card today, we'll give you $40. It's the most that we do as an incentive to become part of the HSN family. That'll drop your price down to $49. I could not buy a Henckels decent or any German decent paring knife for $49, let alone a whole set of knives for $89. It is a phenomenal value. It was one of our best-selling holiday items last Christmas time because people love giving knives. People love. My brothers were calling me and they're like, "Oh my gosh, how many sets can you get? We'd love to have a couple sets. We want to give away sets. It's just been a huge hit." We have about 5 minutes left. We're extremely busy. If you want white, I'm down to about 1,200 left in the white. I'm still okay in the red. And the most popular, and the ones that I own, are the black. You get the Bloc, you get all the blades, everything you could possibly need. They store away perfectly. They're drawn in on an angle to allow moisture to drip through as well. But each one of these, outside of the shears and the serrated knife, have a built-in sharpener in the slot. And you can actually see it right here. Or over here. See the little slot right there? See that little white? That's ceramic material. It's actually on all of them. You can see it in all of them right there. All the ones that have a straight blade, it'll sharpen your knife every single time. John, to me, and I know John is an outdoorsman, John is a big-time fisherman, and John knows a lot about knives because he uses them all the time when he's cleaning fish. You gotta have a good set.
Let me tell you, Guy, everybody knows cooking doesn't take time. It's all the prep in the kitchen that takes the time. And it's so nice to be able to grab a knife every single time you want to use it. And when you cut with it, it's going to be like the very first day that you brought it home. It's razor sharp from tip to toe. And with that knife block that keeps it razor sharp, whether it's today, tomorrow, next week, next month, next year, it's going to be razor sharp each and every time you use it. So it makes work in the kitchen so much easier. You don't have to worry about sharpening your knives. You know, some people even were telling me, in fact, Suzanne and I were talking earlier at midnight, she sends her knives away to get them sharpened. and she was telling me, and there's companies that'll do that, but it's expensive to do. And hers are still in the box. they're still in the box. They're still sitting there waiting to be shipped out. And in the meantime, you're stuck at home using dull knives. It's so nice to be able to pull that knife out, whether it's a Santoku knife, your paring knife, your utility knife, your chef's knife. And if you look up, if you have not heard of the Zwilling Henckels company, we've been around since 1731. So almost 300 years of cutlery technology goes into this set and into the sharpening technology. So every time you replace that knife, it's going to sharpen itself. Also, again, Zwilling Henckels, you can ask any chef worldwide will tell you it is the gold standard in kitchen cutlery. These knives, we're actually the oldest brand in the cutlery industry, almost 300 years. And do you know, Guy, it's the same factory, the same building in Germany for nearly 300 years. So the quality, the workmanship, the materials, everything is the best of the best when you pick up your Zwilling J.A. Henckels set of knives today.
It's such a good deal. It really is hard to put in words. I guess if you're a foodie like me, you get it. But if you don't, understand, trust the reviews. I've got a couple of them here. T. Flava, Louisiana says sharp and sharp looking. Wicolia in Tennessee, my husband will use another knife. We love the self-sharpening aspect that's incorporated into the Bloc. And then J-Bon Cuba from Washington, I love the self-sharpening feature. I would highly recommend these knives to anyone who wants to get good cutting knives. I just think it's a steal of a deal. Even if you're thinking about, you have somebody who has a gift-giving opportunity coming up, somebody getting married, knives are a great gift to give to anybody. Maybe, you want to get a last-minute thing for Father's Day. These are great for Dad, too. If Dad likes to do all the butchering and the cutting, they're ideal for that as well. We are, even though our clock says 30 seconds, we got about another minute and a half. I encourage you to get it. 3 colors available. I misspoke, about 12 or 1,300 left in the white. We've got them available in red, and we have them available in black. You can order as many as you want. If you get a brand new HSN credit card today, we'll take $40 off that price and make it $49.95. If you love them throughout the summer, wait till the holiday season gets here, and you are not only impressing people with your cutting skills, but with the food that you're preparing. This is a great deal for you. It's a basic. Everybody should have good cutlery. I remember I used to yell at my brother Darren forever because I'd go to his house. The guy's got a beautiful home. Oh, and I'm like, dude, you have the crappiest knives I've ever seen. They're so dull. And he's like, you know, he just didn't think about it because he's not a foodie. He is kind of now, but he never used to be. This is something that's going to help your cooking experience. It's a safer knife because it holds an edge. John's showing you how sharp they are. They're going to stay that sharp for the life of the knives, and you get a lifetime warranty. John, we got about 30 seconds left. Go ahead, buddy.
Guy, I got to tell you, I'm going to just go to the center of the table here and show you again what you're getting in the set. And if you've looked at our knives in retail, okay, we have the black handle in retail. The white and the red are exclusive to HSN and Today for the Today special. But in the set, you're getting the 8-inch chef's knife, your 7-inch Santoku knife. Just price one of these on their own. It's worth it just for that knife. You're getting your straight utility, which is a 5-inch or 6-inch knife. You get your 5-inch serrated utility knife, which is great for opening cardboard boxes, for using as a utility knife around the kitchen. And you're getting that 3-inch paring knife. And don't forget, those shears, when you use those, Guy, they're fantastic for things like herbs or for opening packages or, I mean, or splitting a chicken in half. You can cut right through the bone.
You're going to love them. All right, we are just about out of time. We are going to do another presentation in my third hour, coming up at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Item number is 748972, a great investment. You're going to have them the rest of your life, come with a lifetime warranty. You want to break up the payments, everything on 5 Flex here in cooking and cutlery, $17.99. It is a great deal. John, thank you, buddy. We'll see you a little bit later on in the show. I want to remind everybody, we do have available, if you're interested, the steak knives to go along with your brand new cutlery set. Same colors. You can choose 4 in black, 4 in red, or 4 in white. They come in they come in this really nice box, so when people open them up, they're beautiful.